I'm Charlton Watts from Turbeville, South Carolina. Today I'm baling triticale and ryegrass and baling it a little on the green side. The reason I'm baling it and spraying it because I'm probably going to turn around and wrap it for storage. And I want to experiment and make sure that by doing it with a little bit of moisture that I can control the mold in the bale. And then that way, if it works good this way, then I can try my coastal.
Where does most of your hay get sold?
Horse hay, cow hay. I got people buy a lot of cow hay from me. So I try to have, that's one reason sometimes we might have a field that some weeds got through. So we know we got to have cow hay. And so sometimes we don't put the extra money in the cow hay that we would horse hay where we can sell it cheaper. It was well worth it. We found that the acid really works good on damp hay. It's got me out of a bind several times, but I couldn't count probably. I'm just using this for example. To sell a square bale of hay for $8 or $9, and it gets rained on, and you still got to square bale it. And you say, well, I'm going to square bale it for hay. I mean, it's hard to say. It might not be worth but $6. Round bales the same way. If this hay here gets what I'm doing here, hopefully I'll save this hay. But if they were calling for rain tomorrow, I get this hay secured, I'm not going to lose any money on it. But if I mess around here and get wet tomorrow, it changes the smell, it changes the look of it, and you end up, instead of $70, you might end up selling it for $40 or $50. So it's a right significant amount.
How do you grade quality? How does your customers grade quality?
Well, looks, smell, whether the horses eat it, that's the biggest thing. Sometimes it can be pretty and green and high protein, and it can be moldy and stink, and the horses won't eat it. So I can't say that I grow the very best hay. That would be a little bit beyond me to brag on my hay that much. I always like to tell people, take a bale, and if you don't like it, I'll come get it. You know, it works good on high moist, 16, 17%. That's mostly what we use it on. We mostly use it around, even if we got dry hay, around the edge in the shade, we always equip to spray those ends. Sometimes we need to get started an hour earlier. We can go ahead and spray it until it gets bone dry.
What's the most challenging part of making good dry hay?
Humidity. The humidity is tough in the southeast, south anywhere in these areas. Now, like I say, this time of the year is not too bad, but in the middle of the summer, when the heat index gets up, it's pretty humid. And this actually, we started using this, like I say, probably 15, 20 years. Don't use a lot of it, but I've gotten where I use more and more. The more hay I got, the more I get in trouble. So sometimes we've cut as much as 100 acres and had it on the ground, and that's when I get real nervous. They won't call for any rain until you get the most hay cut, and then for some reason you'll get a cloud from somewhere that wasn't expected. So it never fails. Well, I have went out and baled 12 or 15 acres with 16, 17% moisture on it to get it up out the field to keep it from raining on it, and then turn around after it rained, then rolled it all the way back out and dried it back out. So that was double work. But that was better than losing the crop. But and that's whenever we started seeing where this stuff would work for us. It's a time saver. You can make it expensive, but you can make it pay for itself too, all in the same token.
When you are using it, have you calculated it down to the bale? Well,
sorta. Yes and no. I have done it at the cost of a couple of dollars a bale. Sometimes it depends on how wet it is. I've increased it, $4 a bale. Is it worth it? Whenever you start putting that extra money in it, can you get your money back? Well, maybe in a lot of cases you can't increase your price of hay, but you can certainly get your same price rather than having to discount it because it's moldy hay. And so that's where I figure it makes me money. I have to figure it that way.
Consistency.
Yes, because, if you get 50 acres of hay out there and you bale it up wet and it molds on you and you can't sell it for horse hay, I mean, you got 50 bales that you're going to have to give away for cow hay. And you won't get your full price for it. It helps you get started. If you got a chance of thunderstorms, you got a bunch of hay on the ground, you can start an hour or two earlier. Instead of waiting after dinner to start, you might start at 11 o'clock. And you can bale a lot of hay in a couple hours. And then if you get a field in 2 hours of hay on the ground that gets wet, that's a good bit of profit.
How difficult is it to use, or somebody who knows nothing about an automatic applicator, what would you say about it?
Well, as long as it's working, and which so far it's been working for me. It's kind of like the first time you use a GPS, you don't want to trust it. So I had a little trouble with it going on and off, and so is this thing doing right? And I trust it, and then the manual, you're turning it on. So once you get kind of used to it, then you say, well, I think it's working like it ought to. So it kind of keeps you from doing all the guesswork.
What are you watching on the automatic applicator?
I'm watching the moisture, and it tells me when it's spraying. Then whenever I hit dry spots in the field, it's not spraying. That's important. But just like I said earlier, even with a manual, you're going to have trees around your field in the southeast here, and a lot of hay in the shade. And so if you have your sprayer on it, you can spray around the ends of your fields, and then get your moisture probe and check it, and whenever it dries off in the middle of the evening, you can quit using it. Well, I think if you're going to be in the hay business, you're going to have to adapt to using it in a lot of applications. We have people using bale wagons and bale stackers. And some of that, you have to spray it because you're compacting those 14 or 21 bales together. And it better be dry, else it's going to mold on you. And a lot of those people doing square bales in accumulators probably need to really look at that hard. Maybe more than the round baler, because you got a lot of money in square bales. Doing hay and all, it's a job. It's probably the most stressful job I got. I thought tobacco was always stressful, but hay will get you tensed up. And the more you got, the more tensed you stay.
That's why you invest in the technology and the
Exactly.
solutions.
And all these little things like the acid, the propionic acid, and crop saver, or whatever you call it. Some people call it different things, but that takes some of the tension out of it.